right
Oh,
now.
there we go.
Didn't know that.
So if you go to you, well, as of now that I just mentioned it, before we weren't.
Wait, it still says off air or off air at the top of the screen.
Yes, because I'm not sharing. I'm not starting this because if I start this as a broadcast, it's gonna remove all the
Fanciness.
stuff on the bottom,
Yeah,
and I don't
alright,
have
I
control
got you.
over what
Your
video.
toolbar.
Yeah,
Right.
so if you go to YouTube, what I'm showing you now is the way I have it laid out. And then there's a video focus one.
Can you hear me now?
Good. Just,
Okay. It doesn't like tell me whether it's muted or unmuted, so I have to like make sure that I know where I'm at.
Would you be offended if I manually selected Urban's feed so I could just watch him for the whole show?
That's fine.
Oh, the bromance is real.
I completely understand.
all right, so
I'm
should I make the entire browser the screen and then just have us in the corner, like make it like super wide? But then there's a bunch of waste space. I don't know.
Well, the delay is minimal.
You can
Yeah,
put the
I
links
know.
in the wasted space.
What links?
The YouTube, not the YouTube. Yeah, the YouTube channel. If you wanted, you could put the Facebook, the Google Play, iTunes, like Podbean. You could do the plugs. If you wanted. It'd be even cooler if you could, when the video goes live, if you annotated those links in over top of the links.
Annotated what links of what?
The links to all of our plugs. Like if they clicked on the link in the video, it went to the website.
Right. That you would need to do that manually afterwards.
Yeah.
Is there a way, I'm looking at the feed right now, to make like a... I don't know how you do it with the aspect ratio. Like last time you had, because the way Skype was designed, you had all of us next to it. Yeah, is there a way to get like the forward? You can't customize the Hangouts at all. You have to just
No.
position it as a frame.
Yeah. What were you thinking? Like have the 4 video streams all going?
Yeah, or like put the Hangouts window in like the top left over top of the i4O banner, so it can keep the same aspect ratio but decrease the size, and then have the browser next to that. I just don't know if the browser will be big enough in that scenario.
So leave the video where? Put the
like on the left, kind of where the browser is now. But have it come down with the same aspect ratio until it's near like the 8 or something, like episode in the little footer, and then have the browser to the top right. If you could do that. I'll draw you a picture.
Where are you guys? Are you sharing it, Urban, or no?
It's on YouTube, yeah.
well, I switched
on
it to camera only now.
Yeah.
If you see it. So transition, so it should be updating. I don't... So where do you want the camera?
Look at this. Can you see that?
Oh, yep.
Okay. Hangouts, browser, right? So the aspect ratio is where I can't do that. So if I go...
Doesn't the banner help that? Like if you keep... Doesn't the banner make it so you can decrease the size but keep the same ratio?
It does, but the sliver that it leaves for the browser is so small.
It's too narrow, yeah.
It's way too narrow. Or what I can do, like I could do that, but if I leave a top and bottom section open.
Or do this. Like if you add, I'm looking at myself, so I'm waiting until I see it. I guess you can see it now.
Yeah.
Anybody in the chat have any suggestions? Let's get the chat involved.
If you can extend the green up above that banner so that the Hangouts window could be smaller, and then I'll allocate all that size on the other side of the screen for the browser, maybe. Yeah, like that size of the browser is like around what I was thinking, maybe a little bit wider.
Like this? Oh, it's gonna switch soon.
Okay, I'm waiting for it.
Oh.
Ooh, that looks pretty cool. maybe a little bit too busy with the background, but
Yeah, I can change the background. I just have whatever that. I can just make it all black. But that might be too. Or I can
I
make
feel
it
like-
the same color as the lower third now.
I feel like white might be good,
White.
or like a light gray, one or the other.
How about a dark gray?
No, I said a light gray,
I
Thompson.
said a dark gray.
Well, we have 5 people watching, and there's only 4 of us.
Oh.
Yeah,
Hello.
we get an extra one in here.
So
Hello,
greetings-
friend.
Greetings, viewer.
Fancy.
Well, I can make it the same green. Is that not? Oh.
That's we can see how it looks.
Yeah, try it out.
Order. Move to bottom. And then move order.
I think that looks pretty good, actually.
Move to down. And then this goes here. That goes there. And live.
I actually like that. I think that's kind of nice.
We can put text above like
Yeah.
the video too. Like we can put whatever text in there. I don't know what we want, but we can.
Also, Piezo can't pick up my microphone in Chrome, I don't think. I'm going to try listening to the recording to see if it fixes it, but that's a pretty big limiting factor.
That's really weird.
Yeah, maybe there's an extension to Record a tab, but if that's the case, then I can find something along those lines. But
Can't you just select the entire browser as the program?
the source is all of Chrome.
Yeah, why is that an issue?
I don't know. It's either
Well, the
not
source.
picking me.
Oh, right. Isn't there a separate? Well, Piezo is only designed to record Skype.
Yeah, it records chat clients.
Yes, which this isn't really.
I hope YouTube's enjoying my mustache alignment.
Oh, it was focused on you. There we go. Best way to record.
Yeah, it's
Google
not hearing me.
Hangout with. Oh, really?
What?
That's a shitty article.
Bad article.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't mind. But
So I was reading an article that says best way to record Google Hangouts on Windows or Mac. And
you
it's
have-
like
you
one.
just taught Matt a bad word.
Ooh.
So it's like, hey, you can use this, you can use that. It give you like 4 options, and it's like the best solution is by us.
Yeah.
We make the
Similar
best one,
software, yes,
right?
yeah.
We make the best solution out there. I thought it was a real article, then I realized it was an ad.
Classic.
It's classic. What
Let me see if I can find an extension, perhaps.
You just need a program to record your system audio. Doesn't QuickTime do that? Built in?
Maybe.
QuickTime records.
You know what's crazy about? I mean, I know we're gonna get into this, but the first topic for tonight is like how many different causes there could be for it,
So many.
right? Could be like source A or like source B trying to look like source A, or like a source C that could be another culprit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. What a time to be alive, guys.
Mm-hmm.
You would be right.
The live stream just switched to Thompson for like his camera for him to go.
Oh man.
I love this way too much.
Soundflower is what I see suggesting all the time.
Yeah, but I couldn't get that to work.
It took me a long time and I didn't get it perfect, but I did figure out a lot about it on my MacBook.
Every page just says Soundflower. Wait.
I went down this
Audacity?
very road.
Can Audacity record Chrome?
Oh no, you still need Soundflower. Because you'll use Soundflower to combine system audio with your microphone audio into one channel, and then you point whatever recording program you use to Soundflower, and then that'll record everything.
Let me try something else.
I'm recording here, but I don't know how much that helps. But oh shit! Damn it! I keep cursing. I'm sorry.
You just did it when you said sorry.
No. Firefox. Order. Move up.
Oh man.
Lower third. Order. Move up. No.
Hey.
Oh man, I found a way, but the only time we can only capture it for 20 minutes, and then I have to start recording again.
Oh really?
It's annoying.
It is.
So this is a severely limiting problem that we have.
Yeah.
Why doesn't source? You put source as Chrome.
Yeah, source for Piezo.
Yeah.
It's Google Chrome, but it's just picking up both on the same channel. It's picking up Chrome on the left and right channel.
Oh, was it picking up Skype on one channel and then your microphone on the other before?
Yes. But it's not. It's not. There's no audio playback of my voice anywhere, so it can't record it. Maybe if I have it. Maybe if I have the audio playing. I don't know. Then that won't work. Because then I won't be able to have any tabs open. So I was like, oh, I could just point it at the YouTube channel because that works.
It's true. But that's relying on me sending out. That's the same as my recording.
Right. But I don't know if there's a way that I can. Talk again, real quick. Just quickly talk.
Quick talk again. Talk.
Right.
Talk.
Actually, I have an idea. I'm gonna put the YouTube channel open on Firefox. This might actually work.
Oh, lovely. I don't even know why I try. Don't even know why I try, you guys.
It's quite the skill there, J-Bus.
Hey, like me now, YouTube. Oh, of course it falls. Oh my god.
I have the ever-sinking chair. Adjusting it.
Mine only goes up so high in the first place.
Same.
My desk is also for like someone who's a lot shorter than me. Like my
Mine's
knees
for somebody who's a
almost-
lot taller.
One of those
Go
IKEA
trade.
desks. It's cool. Yeah, I would love to. It's got these little cubes for storage, and I love it. It's like typical generic IKEA, right? But it's
Mine's IKEA too.
yeah, it's a little too small for me.
Now I just have to figure out how to have Firefox play audio and have me not hear it. Now I just have to figure out how to have Firefox play audio.
Yeah, because you have to mute it so you don't like hear an echo of yourself.
What?
You have to mute it so you don't hear an echo of yourself.
But if I mute it, then
It doesn't.
hear it.
Piezo doesn't record it, right? If you mute it.
yeah, if I mute it, Piezo doesn't record it. So then,
Yes.
So,
oh god.
is it maybe something to do with? Never mind. That doesn't make any sense.
This is quite the dilemma.
A conundrum, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying you will?
I will.
Thanks.
What if we record the video in Hangouts, the audio in like Discord, and
Oh,
Good.
jeez.
would that work?
In theory, but why? I know why, but
I was gonna say it's not hard to know why, unless you just want to split the audio out of your track when you're done.
I have the video, so I can separate out the audio from my video recording.
Yeah. And that way I don't have to do anything.
Right. Sure.
And
Our new TM at Flavin.
I'll have that by 1 a.m. Okay, Urban? No later.
Sounds good.
Sweet. I'll have the editing done by 1:15.
Tonight?
Yeah.
Are you actually gonna do it tonight?
I don't know. Maybe. There's this free concert at the park, a block away from my apartment tomorrow, and I'm going there right after work. So I could get it done tonight. That'd be cool. And then our dedicated viewers / listeners could have it on what's soon to be a lovely Thursday.
Beautiful listeners.
That's right. Don't even know a word yet.
Should we, for the sake of the episode, should we record the second topic first? Because the first topic is a bit heavy. So
Second one's probably a really good lead off, actually.
should we lead it off? Okay.
Yeah, I like that. It's nice and light and fluffy, and we can talk about some general things regarding it.
Okay. We can discuss words that relate
We
to
can-
such a topic.
We can speak and hear words related to the topic.
Those are my favorite kind of vocalizations.
Yeah, and then we can process that with our brain.
You're
and learn.
speaking my language.
Czy mówi pan Polska? Taka nie. What was that?
I don't know.
I heard a little noise.
Yeah, I heard that too. I thought someone responded to you.
Whoa.
Sounded like a sneeze or a mew. What is? Oh,
I switched it to audio only.
I also didn't realize that you were under the i4O account.
Yeah.
I like it. The face of Ifuro. Irvin Lukash. Who did that the first episode? You're like, why'd you do that? I think it was Matt. Matt was like, Irvin Lukash.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was like, you say Lucas.
Anybody hear from Kyle?
Not yet.
Not since he messaged us all.
You should
on...
send him a text.
I would love to, but my cellular device decided to run out of energy. And I don't want to plug it in because I'm stubborn. Actually, I'll plug it in.
Facebook did an annoying update today. Or was it last night, I think? Now it auto plays videos.
Oh, it auto plays? That's so dumb.
When when you have headphones plugged in, I haven't tried because my phone's always on vibrate. I haven't tried if your like phone is like not on vibrate, does it also play? But I've noticed every time that headphones are plugged in, then videos automatically play with sound.
Yeah, I saw they said that in the update. It was like a warning, but I didn't see. Well, I don't know. I'm not aware of it only being limited to headphones. It just said it was going to play with sound. I was like, what the hell is this? But I had it on silent all day.
Yeah, I have it on vibrate. I never turn it ever anything else.
Yeah. Yeah, mine's been on vibrate, and I don't remember if I scrolled through Facebook today, but we could try it.
So what I did was turn on data saver in the settings, which doesn't play anything ever. And I turned it on so it's always on, even on Wi-Fi. Because by default, it's only on when you're on 4G or whatever LTE.
4G LTE.
Yeah.
Broadcasting. I clicked on the YouTube gaming night mode, and it's really slick.
It is. Yep. Agreed.
Because it pushes the chat up next to it, so I can actually see what's going on in the chat.
You have a video playing on my feed right now. It's not playing any music.
Yeah, because it's you're on vibrate.
Yep.
Turn vibrate off, and see if it plays with audio without you clicking on it.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
And I did get the update still.
Yeah.
Irvin, are you about to get raided by the police? Look at
I was gonna say.
those sirens.
Boo, boo, boo.
Is your LEDs?
Yeah.
Nice, I like it. Yeah, the dance
I can make it more subtle, so it's slowly changing in color.
Trippy.
Or I can do it for my voice. Wait. No, not this one. This one? So it only happens when I talk. It's meant
Have you guys
for
seen
beats.
Have you guys seen the Echo look, like what it actually looks like?
Yeah, I've seen videos. I'm not in person.
Have you looked at the look?
I've looked at the look. I've given it a look.
We're so
A
cool.
look in its way. It's actually really ugly.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love it, Jeff Bezos.
No,
Also-
I'm allowed to give an honest opinion. Damn it. I am an honest man.
Darn it.
Yes, sir.
Dang.
Hey, Irvin, what'd you think of Shepus's OnePlus 5?
It's nice. I held it in my hand. And
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
liked
it's a nice phone.
It's closer to an iPhone now.
Yeah, it looks exactly like an iPhone 7.
It's exactly like an iPhone.
Yeah.
Does it feel like one? How's the build?
Yeah,
Feels like one.
Yeah, it definitely feels like one. The material is slightly different, but I haven't held an iPhone 7 in like forever.
Right.
But from what I remember, it feels slightly different from like the back. It's not as smooth. It's a little grippier on the OnePlus 5. From
It's
what
kind
I
of their
remember,
thing, though, isn't it?
from what?
Isn't that kind of their thing? Like grippy.
I don't know. It's not as grippy as the grip tape that they had on the OnePlus 1.
Right.
I remember.
That was nice. And that's become a case now for all of their subsequent phones.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just wondering
Oh.
because all of the other OnePlus phones that I've held kind of felt hollow almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey,
It is all on the
Look
side.
who it is.
hello everyone.
Hello.
Apologize for the delay.
No worries.
I don't think you're using your built-in mic. I mean, it sounds like you're using your built-in mic.
Yeah, on the MacBook, you gotta switch your input.
Switch your input.
I have to do that through the Hangouts, right?
Yeah, there's a gear somewhere.
The control room.
I think.
Gear, microphone, Yeti. Gets high.
The gear at the top.
Yeah.
Settings.
Check, check. You good now?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
there it is.
That's it.
There it is.
Night and day.
There it is. All right, fellas. Hi.
right.
I'm feeling pretty good.
So am I.
Yeah?
It's gonna be a good episode.
Yeah, me
We
too.
got a lot of topics to talk about.
I'm rather excited.
I am
Oh, no.
enthralled to be sure.
Golly, fellers. It's going to be a great one.
Well, just gosh, okay.
Would you look at that?
Would you look at that?
Just look at it.
Can you guys hear my air conditioner? I got to turn it off in a second. I just want to cool my room down.
I can't hear yours. And
Yeah.
can you hear mine running right now?
No.
Yes. I was so very hot last week when we did this, so I'm excited.
Yeah, you were.
Woo!
I mean, listen, I was
Ryan-
having a talk with my girlfriend on the way here, talking about how cute Jeff was. So I mean, it's,
Oh,
Oh.
I was like, yo, girl, don't even tune in before I'm on there because his face is distracting. So,
the romance. It's tangible.
Ryan, the news helicopter's officially gone.
Yeah. I saw what that was. I think I know what that was for too. I don't want to
Oh,
give away the
really?
location, but yeah.
Did you see it on
somebody-
Snapchat?
Somebody rammed the U-Haul truck into the bar.
Oh my gosh.
nice.
Oh,
UI. They have a video of it too. It's
There
gonna
you
go
go.
viral.
Hey,
Someone-
hey, Matt.
Yo.
If you can pull off the meow trick from Super Troopers like 10 times during this episode, these NFC chips are yours.
Ooh.
I don't know the meow trip.
What?
Trick. Don't know it.
You've never seen Super Troopers?
Nope.
Oh,
Right now.
Now, listen.
Okay,
here.
now.
All right.
Oh,
Yeah,
so just
you were
replace
going
the
about-
word now with meow.
You have to say meow instead of now and try and pull it
I do
off.
that normally all the time. I'll just...
All right, I got the
Just-
show notes up. I got the Hangouts. I'm ready to go whenever you guys are. So
All right, cool.
Alright.
All right.
All right.
I'm ready to go whenever you are. Oh,
I'm
we
gonna try
got
to talk-
confirmation on the bromance in the chat.
I'm gonna talk really deep
All right.
voice this episode.
All
I
right.
just started recording also. So
Okay. I'm not recording. Urban's going to be splitting the audio from the video because I can't record Chrome and get my audio at the same time.
way to go.
And on my desk tonight.
I need that and pictures of Spider-Man on my desk tonight.
That's right.
Stat.
EOB or EON.
I like the all black background there.
EOE. Oh, thank you.
It looks like a
I had to move the screen over because otherwise it's like it's trash back there.
You look like it's your own personal studio, dog.
It looks professional. It really does.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, guys.
It does.
I have a
Wish it
really
was.
I have a really dingy window in
No,
the
that's a
background
great.
of mine.
That's a great window.
Yeah, you got the whole
It's the
green
best
color scheme.
window.
I dig it.
the best
WrestleMania,
one.
so it's all good.
Yeah.
And Chase behind your head.
Okay. I'm ready to go live whenever you guys are.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm recording. I'm
Urban, how we
ready to
looking?
go. Yeah, we're live. We're recording. We're good.
Alrighty. So I guess we're gonna go live in. Let me just
Nice.
review the intro
Nice and
here.
nice and fluid. Yeah, let's do it.
Everybody comfortable? Everybody loose? Ready to go?
Mm.
Yeah. How now, brown cow? How now, brown cow?
The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog.
The arsonist had oddly shaped feet.
All right, guys, we're gonna go live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 8 of Industry 4.0, the only podcast that suggests that you regularly update your printer drivers. I'm coming to you right meow with all 5 of the people on the podcast. Let's go ahead and do a round table real quick and get some intros out of the way. I'm Matt Slavin. We got who else? Who wants to jump in?
This is Jeff Budzinski, by short J-Buds.
This
Kyle
is
Fisher. You
Ryan
can
Thompson.
call me whatever you want.
Don't everybody all go at once.
Oh, you
Yeah.
Kyle, you got it.
I said my piece. You can call me whatever you want, but it's Kyle Fisher.
Ryan Thompson.
And then we have
Wang.
Irvin, otherwise known as Swerve.
And
Swerve.
Be swerved.
Swervin, moving right on from the massive fumble that was the introduction. We're gonna go ahead and
Sorry,
jump
guys.
straight into. No, you're all good. Our first topic. We got Facebook at 2 billion monthly active users. That's almost a third of all people,
That's right.
and most likely everybody listening to this podcast. Anybody want to jump off on that topic? Just kind of talk about what that means for social media and Facebook and their like new responsibilities having that many people.
Well, I'd like to start by just mentioning that I am a prioritized Facebook user because I got a personalized video today from Facebook, and I'm
Ooh.
sure no one else did.
I got the same thing.
Sarcasm. No, but I think it's pretty incredible that there's that large of a percent of the world population that uses this one online social media service. It's really impressive, and it's kind of crazy to think about how far it's come. Looking at a chart here, it looks like in 2010 there was about 500 million users, and that's gone up by 4 times in the past 7 years.
Yeah, he went from forcibly enrolling college students to forcibly enrolling half of the Western world. It's
Half of the Western world. What? It's more than that.
yeah, it's a ton. And he picked up. I don't know if you said the exact number about it, but he picked up almost 700 million people I think the past year or two from like India and the Asian countries in general. So that's insane growth. And Mark Zuckerberg was saying that his plan to basically have an internet where everybody is interconnected is well on its way, and it's looking like we're getting very close to seeing that reality. And I wonder if it's going to get to the point where they break 3 million, 4 million, 5 million as the rest of the countries develop, and
Billion.
Billion, I think.
billion, yeah, billion, and any potential antitrust things that might come along with that. Like, is it possible for a social network to commit any antitrust laws? I'm not sure how
I mean,
that would.
They got in trouble for offering free access to Facebook and some other sites with their internet.org campaign
right.
that was done in India and I think other countries as well, where they would give them free service that lets them access a handful of sites. And of course, one of them was Facebook for free, so you don't have to pay for internet. And the reason that they did that is they want people connected, and if they can only access Facebook, that's fine with them, or a handful of other sites. I think Wikipedia was on that list as well, but people were like, you're just subsidizing the internet just so you can access Facebook. Like, we don't
Right.
want that.
And it's their reach is absolutely insane, and it's almost unprecedented, even in I think in all of human history, the amount of reach that something they can put on that website has to humanity in general. Like, the article on TechCrunch goes into the details, saying 66% of Facebook's monthly users return each day, compared to 55% when it hit 1 billion. So that's more than half of these people are on daily. So there's more than 1 billion people coming in and out of this website. So it's like, it's now becoming like the only place that I would think that people should advertise, the only place that people should post articles, despite their like built-in article program not exactly working out. And a lot of news companies backing out of actually making, I think it's their instant articles is the one that I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of fumbling over itself while the news companies back out of that one. But
I hate those when I see them personally.
yeah, everyone should be working on like the standard like AMP and stuff like that, not instant articles. I don't.
There's people against AMP too. I've seen plenty of articles, especially this week, reading about why they turned off AMP on their site and why they're supporting. They just want a simple HTML page, but like that's a whole separate conversation.
Yeah, that is. I don't think that's gonna happen. But anybody else have any thoughts on just like the growth of Facebook? And a lot of people were kind of speculating that Mark Zuckerberg is trying to poise himself for a potential run for presidency in 2020.
Yeah.
Do you guys hear about that? Or
Yeah.
With these kind of with these kind of 2 billion numbers, he might be running for the president of the world.
Exactly. I think that's his end goal. I don't think he wants, like, I could see him doing it, but I don't know if he wants to pivot from that when he's the leader of the largest communication medium on the globe right now.
Seems like he's trying to take kind of like not an activist approach, but he's kind of bringing up what we can do socially to benefit the world via Facebook. He's kind of looking for the next frontier, not just a way to stay connected, but what can we do with it now that there's 2 billion users. And I think it's interesting if you think about the conversation that would come up a couple months ago as recent news with content control on Facebook, the concept of fake news that's been talked about now, taking down offensive posts. It's interesting to think about what content they're preventing from being posted, and if they're going to wind up promoting certain content in lieu of what he's talking about. What can we do for society? Maybe they'll push.
Yeah, because they're a media company now.
Yeah.
Right.
So as much as they don't want to admit it, they are the primary source of not only just news, but the internet for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like, people go online, they check their emails, and then they go to Facebook and they keep in touch with friends. And that's their entire use case. So they're going to have to, they're kind of treading on.
I'd say the gateway to the internet.
Right. They are. Yeah. And what they put up and what is trending on their website influences now potentially 2 billion people if it's trending enough. And that could even be like an entire different topic on its own. But it's just impressive to see Facebook growing at these kinds of numbers, and it's passing YouTube even at 1.5 billion. So it's weird to see that so many people are a part of like so few websites. So because all these big companies are just buying up all the competition, and like these numbers are just mind blowing. I could talk about this all day, but
I mean, the chart that I'm showing on the screen right now, 1, 2, 3, 4 of those are owned by Facebook itself.
Right.
And just think about how much overlap is between those 4. So that'd be Facebook itself, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Facebook Messenger.
I wonder how many of
owned by the
these.
same person.
I wonder how many of these Facebook accounts are of people's dogs. if they're counted as people in this.
As long as they logged in once in that month, yes, they count as a person.
Just padding their stats.
Did they say this was? Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, it's kind of weird, but in a way, it's almost like we're living in the age of supervillains. It's like the James Bond supervillains are coming to life here. You got Zuckerberg trying to control the media in all of its forms, and you have like people like Elon Musk trying to control energy resources. I mean, in a way, it is like you're seeing these people rise up and trying to control. Well, they're finding these niche markets to grow upon and just kind of take over the rest. It's like, oh, we got a more efficient product that works better than everybody else's. We can just easily infringe upon whatever markets are out there.
It's just like that Parks and Rec episode where like in the future the world, like the whole US has only 5 companies because they've all just merged into like 5
Yes.
separate super companies.
Kind of it reminds me of Mom from Futurama.
Right. That too.
Putting on the happy face, because I was gonna say I don't see either of them as villains, but maybe they're just doing a
Right.
really good job of hiding it.
Oh, exactly. I don't see them as villains now, but at some point, isn't it too much power centered around too few people?
Right.
I mean,
And also-
sure, Rupert Murdoch has a good deal of power in the media already, so it's
Yeah.
almost like he's kind of pushing him out.
Bill Gates
Mhm.
got his, man. So
Yeah. Yeah, true
This
that.
is just a new form of media coming through, kind of
Yeah.
like in the way that all the radio hosts and stars died away and went off the air when TV and like the movies kind of came into play. And
Right.
the internet is just going to kill everything else. Everything is going to have to move online in order to compete. So, and they're going to have to go to the places where people are. So you're going to see all of the other media sources going to Facebook and going to YouTube and going elsewhere to get their information. I mean, look at us.
Right.
We're streaming live on YouTube and we have a Facebook channel right now. So it's just a testament to how much control they have over people's information and the spread of information.
Right. The thing that really got to look out for is like the Goebbels types, like from the the Nazi regime, people who force propaganda. And when you have that much power, I mean, you own this many media companies at this point, it's definitely a threat, and it's real.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
When we were looking at the numbers, talking about like what was it, the 66% of the 2 billion log in every single day,
Yep.
compared to 55 when they hit, what was it, 1 billion? You said.
Right.
Like the craziest part to me is that they've had more competition since then, and have not only grown, but have had more active users as they grew. So as Instagram rose and Vine rose and Snapchat rose, I mean, obviously they ended up buying Instagram, but at first these numbers just continue to increase. Twitter had its peak and then has obviously calmed down a little bit, but all these different mediums, and they basically just took everything that those mediums did and said, hey, we're just going to one up you or do it better or buy you out if we can't. And it's, as they've increased, they've somehow managed to keep people logging in even more often. Like, it's natural to see that active number go down as the total number goes up, and instead they just continued to increase their strength of community, or however you want to phrase it. It's pretty impressive.
Right.
Yeah, it got me researching. I looked up a stat, and the UN predicted actually last month that the total world population is supposed to be over 9 billion in the year 2050. So at this rate, they would easily be able to reach the whole planet, the entire human population within a matter of years.
Right.
But
Well, it's anyone who has
have babies on their phones
right,
and stuff.
Exactly.
Listen, viewing dog memes is a basic human right. I don't know what you guys think, but I know that.
It is.
Yeah.
Sorry, did I say dog? I mean Doge.
Or Doggo.
Doge.
Doggo, Doge. But if you guys want, we can wrap this topic up with any final thoughts if you guys have, because we have there's a lot of stuff happening in cybersecurity this week that I wanted to.
A lot of really happy news to share, right?
Yeah, we wanted to start off with the fluff of Facebook now
by the
controls.
way, well, before we get into this, does anyone have an audio clip from 2 episodes ago where we warned people about this?
I wanted to throw one
Weaponized.
thing out there before we moved on, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go
Alright.
for it.
So it's just based on the comment that you said, where a lot of things are moving towards online, and it's basically internet is killing television the way that TV killed radio. And I mean, you don't have to look any further than what's going on at ESPN right now. They're owned by ABC, owned by Disney, one of the biggest media companies in the entire universe. Blew everybody else out of the water. We talked about how they were forcing cable's hand and charging everybody more just to have access to ESPN for the top tier, all this kind of stuff. And they are bleeding money, letting people go daily who have been there for years, hiring whoever they can find off the street who's willing to come there while they're bleeding. And they're trying to find any way to switch up the thing that they've done for 15, 20 years that has made them so successful, because the internet is doing everything they can do in a much quicker manner.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The internet is just beating traditional mediums up. And if you don't believe it and you're a traditionalist, just look at what has happened to ESPN over the last month.
Right.
And that's your answer right there.
I just hope the internet services and providers, and we've talked about this, and I won't get too into it, but I hope they don't exploit people with that being known. The way kind of there's this cable niche / monopoly that kind of takes advantage of consumers in terms of cost. I hope that doesn't happen with similar things.
I think we're gonna get there, unfortunately, but I hope not to.
I think you're right, but
but you know where we have gotten to, and that's rampant ransomware and cybersecurity issues.
Weakest segue ever.
But we have, like you said, if you had gone 2 episodes back, you could have called this from a mile away. But people have further weaponized ransomware and done any further edits on the WannaCry. And there's this new one that's called Petya, which has been running amok this week in various companies throughout the US, the UK. I think it started in the Ukraine.
In Ukraine, not the Ukraine.
In Ukraine, yes.
Can we rephrase that? Is it absolutely pulverized Ukraine?
Yeah.
The power went out.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. This new one it's only asking for $300 in Bitcoin, which I looked up with the current rate. That's only 0.13 Bitcoins right now. And
is this in Ukrainian dollars?
This is in US.
Oh.
In Ukrainian, it's probably slightly more. And good luck getting it if you don't have power too, which is even worse.
Right.
But the thing that I was looking up a couple articles on this Petya ransomware, and it's looking like it's getting worse instead of better.
Yep.
So within a couple of hours after launching this, the email that's associated with receiving the acceptance of the ransom and the payment was shut down because it was hosted on a publicly owned website or a publicly owned email domain. And as a result, they can no longer tell when people have actually paid it. They just are getting money in their Bitcoin wallet. And as a result, they can no longer hold up their end of the deal and decrypt. So people are kind of SOL when it comes to this decryption. So at this point, if anybody's listening and considering paying it, don't, because it's a waste of Bitcoin at this point and a waste of $300 per machine.
Yep.
But yeah, it's like this is awful. Like we're starting to see weaponized ransomware because it turns out people are easy to get in phishing attacks.
That's correct.
Yeah, and
do we have any reported cases of where they were actually decrypted?
I don't know, but it said they had received 20 payments by the time it was taken down. So I'm guessing it was a very
chance.
Yeah, it was a very it was only up for 2 hours before it was taken down.
Gotcha.
So the second they were hit, if they didn't pay it, then there was no way to decrypt it. So at this point, the only hope those companies have is running a backup.
Yeah,
and
which they should be doing anyway if they're.
Yeah, but who's to say their backup server isn't infected?
Right.
That's the issue.
We're going to find out quickly which companies are worth their salt in their IT department and their cybersecurity teams.
Well, it's not even, yeah, if you're talking about compliance and actually doing what they're saying they're doing, I totally agree.
Right. And
and the reason that we are talking about companies here is that it's spreading like wildfire within companies because it's designed to do that. It's designed to get into a network so that be through a phishing attack directly for, like, let's say someone opens an attachment, and once it's on a corporate network, that'd be a hospital, corporation, office building, it's gonna go out, reach out to all the computers on the network that it can see and look for any vulnerabilities that it can exploit and spread onto those as well. So that's why a lot of these stories are about companies getting hacked, because yeah, one individual person can get hacked, and then more than likely all the computers in the house within that same house will get attacked, but that doesn't make a big story.
So I was kind of wondering about this. That it's probably done with Save's authentication, correct? Like where you already have the permission set up where you don't have to re-enter credentials, where it laterally attacks other machines in the network.
I think it just doesn't it just pings the network and hits any IP address that responds. It doesn't even need credentials.
It doesn't need credentials because it's leveraging a bug that was fixed back in March by Microsoft, but it's still like if you have an unpatched system, it's leveraging an SMB bug. SMB is the protocol that it's used to like transfer files between computers. So as long as it sees a computer on the network, it can reach out to it, see if that bug is still open on that computer, and then go ahead and infect it.
Yeah, and
I've read other stories where that's not even relevant anymore because within some corporations they have a master controller server where it sends out updates to all the computers. So Microsoft will release updates to the IT personnel, and they will decide which updates will get released. So what this virus, a version of this virus, will do is reach out to that update server, hack that, and then create a malicious update that'll force all computers on the network within that domain to download, and that'll make every single computer that's received that update exploitable.
W6
Right.
server, I think.
And the only way to avoid these kinds of network attacks is if the teams were smart enough to partition their backups on a separate network than their actual computers. So that's about the only way you could avoid that, going completely across all of your computers on your network. And this isn't even the worst part of it. This Verge article goes further into detail with this, saying that people who analyze this, because obviously this got all of the big cybersecurity guys' attention right away, they analyzed it and they realized that not only is this an encrypting virus, but it's not exactly ransomware either. It was rewritten to be a wiper.
Yep.
So they took an older version of the Petya software, which was based off of the WannaCry exploit, and weaponized it not only to encrypt your drive, but to delete the encrypted drive.
So at this point, it's getting, like you said, weaponized to the point where they can target, specific companies, organizations, or governments, countries, and to say, okay, we have a problem with you. Your computers are gone.
Mm-hmm.
If they get
and this is almost like this could. I don't want to say the T word because it's gonna cause all kinds of stuff. But it's basically, when you break it down, it's cyber terrorism in a way, because it's coming into a system and with a completely malicious intent. It's not trying to get money from anybody. It's not trying to do anything. Like, a lot of the analysts were saying that they intentionally hosted that email on a public domain because it would get taken down.
Right.
So, like, this is something on an entirely different level than WannaCry.
Well, Ryan and I were kind of talking about this the other day. When I mentioned earlier that power went out in Ukraine, and I don't know if it was countrywide, but at least in specific areas. In the U.S., most of our power grid is backed by computers and controlled by computers.
Mm-hmm.
This is definitely, like you said, the T word. It gets on the level of terrorism when you're affecting the infrastructure of countries, the well-being of its citizens, quality of life. This is akin to basically physically damaging the infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
If you make it inserviceable, unusable.
I really hope those computers are air-gapped. That means that they're not connected to the network, any network, right? They're run by themselves without access to the public internet, which how they should be done to protect it from that.
So there's like an emergency response system for, physical threats. Do you think there's something similar in place where, they can reach out to all the support technicians, system admins, network administrators, and say, this is the action you need to take. This is a risk, not just going through the news, not just pushing updates through Windows, but a public service announcement where this is an imminent threat. This is what you need to do.
If there isn't, there should be. I mean, 100%. at least talk to major companies and set something up, I mean, it's got to be in people's minds. Especially, I mean, there's no other word to describe it than a terroristic act. It doesn't have to be associated with any known terrorist group. I'm not gonna go that far, but like it is a terroristic act in the pure definition of the word.
Mm-hmm.
There's no other way to talk about it.
Right. And to kick it back with what Irvin was saying, hoping that our systems are air gapped, the benefit, one of the indirect, I don't know if you can call it a benefit, but of being in a country where computing really kind of started and got off the ground is a lot of our bigger systems are still running on really, really old hardware, still running on like, I think there's even systems that still run on punch cards and like
floppy disks.
Using languages like
COBOL.
Fortran, COBOL.
Yes.
Some of them run on tubes. Like there's still some old systems that are so old there was no malware written for them, and there's no way because those systems predated the internet, so they're just by design air gapped anyway. So some of these bigger systems, I think we don't have to really worry about too much, but it's more modern infrastructure and data loss that I think the US would have to worry about versus loss to like a power grid or something, just because of the fact that we haven't upgraded that part of the infrastructure in so many years.
It makes me question the general concept of the Internet of Things, which is a huge trend right now in basically every market. If you're connecting all these devices to the internet and things like this can happen, it poses a really big threat to not just your personal privacy, which has been the main concern in the recent past, but now, you know, danger, essentially.
Yeah, there was a controller that was manufactured by a Chinese company that was used in a lot of Internet of Things devices that was used to take it to be part of a botnet. So every device that had this chip had a special code. Once they figure out the exploit, they set special code to it where it would use the internet connection of that particular device to DDoS a particular website. In this case, I think it was the DNS server, so it took down.
Oh, was that the Mirai botnet?
Yeah, the Mirai
Yeah.
botnet that
That
took
took
down
down
the internet.
Dyn
for,
DNS.
Yeah, Dyn DNS.
Yeah, that was. I think that was a set of DVRs from China.
Yeah, because it used some kind of controller that was connected to the internet that could be exploited.
Yeah, so
remotely.
I would say with the in that case it's a bit of a stretch to refer to that as like an IoT device, but
It's
since
on
it's
the
just
internet, right?
Yeah, it's just an internet connected DVR, just like a smart TV or a smart DVD player or like an X1 box from Comcast or a Shield TV, etc. But the same could very easily happen to say like a Philips Hue bulb or to something of that nature. So
Your locks.
or the locks, the smart lock, and even with that too, that could actually be even more dangerous because that could send out like the signal that it's required to unlock that lock.
Yeah.
Or the keys in that way. But this is the beginning of something that could go in one of several directions, I think. And I don't know how excited I am to be a part of that ride. I think we're going to see a lot of security updates coming through and a lot of people improving security. And then I think you're also going to see people who don't do that and just get taken down completely. So I'm waiting for the first big consumer grade attack. But when it comes down to it, all of it is just phishing attacks. So someone clicked an email they shouldn't have, someone downloaded an extension they shouldn't have, etc. And
Which is like the first thing you were told when you got on the internet for the first time.
yeah, but who remembers
Don't
that?
click on it.
Yeah. Like I've even caught myself accidentally clicking on like an agree button like during an installer just because there's one moment where I'm just not thinking.
Oh yeah,
And-
we've all been there, but
Yeah. And it's something that I think we're going to suffer with until the end of time because it's just something that people do. People stop thinking for a second and they make a mistake and next thing you know your computer's infected with a virus. So it's depressing.
one of the scary things to think about for me is like you said, a lot of our different infrastructures might be on older forms of technology, like before the predated internet, stuff like that. But when you see major outages like Ukraine having issues with power, I mean, that is a multi-layered attack. It's not just, oh, well, the power went out, so just sit tight until it comes back on. No, it's going to lead to looting, which is going to lead to rioting, which is going to lead to violence, which is going to lead to police force coming in and having to overstep their boundaries, and then war. Like, it can go so quickly in a bad direction physically beyond the technology that I think it's, like you said, it's something that everybody has to be aware of, and government and whomever needs to take steps on now, be proactive instead of reactive.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that at least for the U.S., there's a lot of these emergency plans for various disasters occurring. I'm assuming something along, in the same vein as this has been planned for, but it's damage control. It's not like a solution necessarily. It's how do we keep things from getting extremely out of hand?
Right.
It's really terrifying when you think about
the internet, like most things, wasn't designed with security in mind in the beginning. It was designed to get things to work. So now we have years of infrastructure built around that mindset that people are now beginning to exploit, because you're getting different people with different agendas able to connect to the same network. So I think we're basically going to be fighting this for the rest of forever, much in the same way we're going to be fighting crime, because it's one of those things where the fixes are only ever going to be reactive. We're never going to be able to predict an attack route in some way. Someone's always going to come up with something new, something unique, and then antivirus companies and cybersecurity firms and operating system vendors are going to have to react to that.
It's insane, because I mean, what you're saying exactly, and with a natural disaster, we see weather patterns. It'll happen eventually. There's a hurricane, and then it affects things like this. This is in someone's hands, or a group of people's hands, where they can deliberately make a decision to impact thousands, if not millions, of lives with the press of an enter key.
Right.
Right. And I think, like you touched upon, Matt, where you said we're going to see this until the end of time. The scary part is we're on the verge of technology being integrated with our bodies. Like we mentioned in earlier episodes, like bionic pieces, things that, medicine is advancing at such a rapid pace these days that it could be integrated with us. People could attack your body. Right now, it's still kind of external to us physically. Like, yeah, it would take down our infrastructure and still be a major, major issue, but physically it can't really touch us. And once it gets to that point, it's just going to be so severe, it's catastrophic.
And here's the kicker is, I've attended some conferences recently regarding security in a lot of big name companies, so I can't mention, but security is essentially viewed by almost all of these companies as a nice to have. It's not in the root of the company. It's about the business plan. It's about the capability, but they don't take the security into account as a necessity, and they need to.
Mm-hmm. That's in human nature. I mean, if even in our podcast, if you go back a couple episodes when we were talking about which Android phone you might want to get, I brought up the 3 possibilities of something you can consider when looking for a phone, and it was either camera, battery life, or security. I mean, and you picked the camera over top of the battery life for the security, and
that was
like people. People people aren't concerned about security. Security is almost universally, no one thinks about it because it doesn't immediately benefit them.
Right.
So
we talked about that when we're talking about the AI and the robots. Like, you have to be proactive in that case instead of reactive. And this is the way you can be proactive. So we weren't necessarily prepared for these ransomware attacks or these malware attacks, whatever the situation may be. But you can, like Ryan said, you can take the example of what they did to the technology that doesn't physically affect us and prepare the ones that will physically affect us for these potential attacks. You use what has happened to you in the past and get prepared for the things that are more physically and more immediately going to affect us on a more dangerous level. If you look at how we talked about the potentials for AI and robots in the future.
Mm-hmm. And being proactive can be something as simple as enabling updates for your printer drivers.
Exactly.
Right.
Hey,
and then being proactive on the consumer side of actually doing the updates.
Mm-hmm.
It's very
Exactly.
They're annoying, but like, what do they take? A couple minutes, sometimes like maybe a half hour, but to protect like, for what they provide.
But I have to
Right.
restart it. Oh,
Yeah.
The big complaint that I hear with people is that updates tend to break things because they'll tweak a few things with the UI and something doesn't work quite as well as it used to work. But the benefits of that is those fixes, well, you have to deal with some minor inconvenience while they work on that patch. Usually with those come security updates, bug fixes, improvements, exploits, stuff like that. So the benefit, you're not seeing the benefits. You're just experiencing some weird quirk in the UI after you download the update.
I wonder if it would be beneficial for the user community if companies like Microsoft were to put it in human terms, what the updates do. You can go into the details and see, hey, back in the day, this prevents SQL injection from being a possibility. Maybe now come out and say this can prevent Petya from affecting your system. That'll grab your attention. You won't pass that update for 2 months.
I completely agree with that. I mean, the simpler you can make it. I mean, it sounds stupid. Like one of the most popular Reddit threads is ELI5. Like, explain it to me like I'm dumb, like I don't know what I'm talking about. Because you know what you were talking about when you wrote that down. I don't work for you. I have no idea what this means.
Yep.
If I see 46 lines on my Facebook update on my phone, I'm like, I'm good. I don't know what it fixed. Does it still work? Cool. Like, you have to be able to make it, especially for things like this, you have to simplify it for people.
Not only that, but you get an update for an app on your phone. How many of us actually read what it updates?
I've never read it once.
Yeah, so put it out there. Don't give them the option to go into details. Just say, this fixes this. Like, this is important. Even if it's like not every update, when it's something like this, make it loud and clear.
And also some companies take the step to go a little too simple and word it as bug fixes and improvements.
I saw that today.
Every single update is bug fixes and
minor
speed
bug
improvements. Yeah,
it's like a template. It's boilerplate. This is like, oh, cool, an update. Minor fixes. What fixes? What was wrong with it before? Why did you have to do it? Like, it would be nice to see a better standard across release notes and different updates.
Yeah, but maybe we care about that. More people might not. I don't know. Just looking at it from a different
angle. People don't care because they don't know what it means. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. You don't have to put in technical details. Just say, this is a big deal. You need to do this. Like, we're telling you, you got to do this.
Are app updates in the iTunes store on by default? Like auto update? Is that an on by default feature or is that an opt-in?
So I think you can definitely toggle the option, but I think by default it is set to auto update.
Okay.
So,
I think it's auto update when you're connected to Wi-Fi.
That sounds right. Or connected to the PC.
Yes.
Or Mac.
Okay. Yeah, because even like this could be helped at the consumer level too. So, or the company level. So, making that an industry-wide standard, like make people opt out of updates if you're going to if you have the option to automatically push an update. Like the Google Play Store automatically updates by default. The iTunes Store, like you're saying, automatically updates by default given settings. So HP printers don't automatically update by default. They should. Like, people should have auto update on, so that way in the case of critical vulnerabilities, because not to bring it up for the 40,000th time, but that HP printer thing, it allows something to get into your network through an exploit. And if that happens to be ransomware, you just got hacked through your printer.
True.
They're changing that.
What happens if auto updates enforced here and we're in the middle of a podcast and boom, there goes your computer?
Right. In Windows 10, you can't turn off. Updates have to be installed. There's no option to never install an update. You can defer it indefinitely, but it's still going to bug you. There's no option for it to, like, hey, completely off. I don't want any updates ever.
And this was kind of this was kind of a mixed bag too with the Windows updates, the way they handled it. With Windows 7, you used to have this like crazy long list of different bugs or different updates of different priorities and of different levels of importance. And a lot of those are now bundled into the same update. So now you just get one giant one and you can't pick and choose which ones you want, which is good. And that's how it should be. Like, a lot of people were up in arms about that. It's like, oh, I can't download my driver updates or whatever. And I can't not opt to have these stupid updates happen, but everything happens at once. You get the security updates and the fluff.
It kind of sucks when it interferes with the software you use or something like that, but that's typically with a different application, like Java, for example. If you update to a certain version, a previous version of that may be ideal for a software or website you use. But when it comes to Windows updates, I don't know if that's the case. Maybe like
what else?
framework, things like that.
You know what else sucks? Having the first 25 sector blocks of your hard drive completely demolished by ransomware because you didn't update. That also sucks too.
Yes, and that's what I was going to say earlier. Would you like a computer or would you like a loading screen that threatens you?
And in this new version, that happens, you might not even be able to see a loading screen.
Yeah.
The one that's been running rampant now is dubbed NotPetya, and it says it demolishes key functions of the victim's computer's boot process, which is in this Cyber Scoop article. Demolishes the key function of the victim's computer boot process even before the victim has a chance to read any ransom demands.
Yeah.
So it's there, like the ransom demand is there, but your computer might not survive long enough to be like, hey, you got hacked with ransomware. It would just shut down because all of your files have just been corrupted in your boot process.
Yeah, so that's just like out for blood, pretty much.
Like, there's no point, like there's no intention of ever collecting money and then sending you a decryption key to you. There's none of that at all. They're just there to completely delete everything off your computer for no reason.
And that's why it's unfair to refer to this as ransomware, I think. It's not ransomware. It's malicious in intent, design, and implementation.
So an interesting point I saw in that Verge article is maybe the perpetrators posted as ransomware to get media attention, since that's kind of a buzzword right now. And then really you just see the aftershock of that initial ransomware, which was ransomware, and now it's just this very volatile
slaughterware.
Yes.
Yeah. Wipers is what a lot of these sites are calling it.
Yeah.
Wipers.
So, oh my God, and like you said, even going a step further from that, not only just destroying your system, but the email they used, the way they approached the ransomware aspect of this software was almost as if they weren't even trying. They used that public domain email, which any person who's doing this would know would be immediately taken down unless it was privately hosted. So it's as malicious as you can get with ransomware. And this is going to be a quoted example in security courses and lectures going forward for years, I think.
Well, we'll see if any others come up. But yeah, I'd agree, at least in terms of like a catalyst, it would definitely be covered. And right now, just while I have the floor for a second, if you haven't gotten the point yet, update your computer. Please update your computer if you need to. Okay. Now that's been explicitly stated.
Auto update all the things.
I have a side note also.
Go ahead.
Update your computer.
Did you get that? Okay.
I don't think I heard that. Can you say that one more time?
People in the back.
But anybody have anything else they wanted to cover about ransomware?
If not, I have a little comment.
Okay.
Before going forward. So we were commenting on auto updates of apps, and there's a recent one of everybody's favorite apps that included a new feature that I was not aware of because I didn't read the release notes because it auto updated, and maybe enabling something a lot of people wouldn't like. So in the second half of the episode, I think we'll lead off touching on that.
A little tease for you.
Yep. So for the guys here, sorry, go ahead.
I was saying also, coming off of that also, I just found out that another app, I don't know if they made an iOS version, but one of the third-party Twitter apps released an update that enables editing of tweets.
That's right.
Yeah.
So lots of cool news in the second half. Stay tuned. We have a lot of insightful material for you, especially for all you smartphone users, which I assume you are if you're So for all the guys here at Industry 4.0, we'll catch you in the second half.
All right.
As what? We're fine. We're not live. It's fine.
Okay.
I mean, whoever wants to play this thing can go for it. I'm down.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
All right.
Irvin, you're focused on me.
What?
You're focused on me on your Hangouts.
Real quick too, what are we leading? Are we leading off with the Snapchat? Or are we leading off with SpaceX?
See SpaceX.
Okay. All right, everybody all set?
I am.
Yes,
There we go.
fixed it.
Alrighty.
Yes.
Gonna start half 2, episode 8 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody. Second half of episode 8, Industry 4.0. Make sure if you've enjoyed our quality audio gloriousness so far, that you're subscribed so you can hear it every single week without even have to think. It comes right to your phone. You'll have it. It's going to be wonderful. You can go to Industry 4.0, all spelled out, .podbean.com, or you can search Industry 4.0 on Google Play and iTunes to get the amazing high-quality tech talk that you get always here on Industry 4.0 from myself, Kyle, and obviously still with me, Jeff, Irvin, Matt, and Ryan. Guys, some awesome stuff happening the last few weeks. We'd like to always, keep it a little more loose in the second half. That's why I do the intros. I'm a little more laid back, a little crazy out here. But we got some cool things. We got some stuff going on with some rockets. 2 rockets one week, and it sounds like a dangerous video, but I know it's a lot more fun than that. You guys think about it.
That was the intent. So SpaceX has successfully landed 2 Falcon 9 rockets and in reuse in the same weekend. So
Just
I know,
to
Irvin,
clarify,
you're pretty excited about this.
Yeah, I was watching. I didn't catch them live because I had a pretty busy weekend last weekend, but I watched them afterwards for sure, just to catch up. And it's pretty exciting to see this and these landings becoming more frequent and kind of becoming the norm. Because I don't know if you guys remember the very first time that these rockets were landing on the drone trips out on the ocean. It was huge news, and right now it's becoming the norm. Like, it's not even making that big of a deal on Twitter or the news cycles, the science blogs and things like that. It's just like, yeah, SpaceX landed on another rocket. No big deal, right? Whatever.
So real quick, for people who aren't too familiar with, you said it was a big deal when the first one landed and stuff like that. For people who aren't necessarily familiar with it, what exactly makes it a big deal? Why should we be paying more attention?
Right. So SpaceX has been working on trying to get the cost of launching a rocket to space down. That's their goal, right? To make it as cheap as possible to get things into space. So that'd be people or cargo. Right now they're focused on cargo at the moment. And the way that they decided to go about it, and they were not the first one to try this, but the first ones to succeed at it, is to reuse the part of the rocket that was used to just fall back into the earth, into the ocean, where you can, so it'll fall back and it wouldn't be reusable at that point. So now they're figured out to where they can send that second stage back to Earth, so that be either on a ship out in the ocean or right back in the on the Earth. Matt, your robot voice.
Your audio is
I'm robot again.
Yes. So Falcon or SpaceX has been really successful of this doing this recently, and it's really great to see that they've done 2 successful ones in one weekend. It looks like they just scheduled the third one to be done July 2nd, so that would be 3 launches in in 9 days span, which is fairly impressive. And just to go again, they're not reusing the same rockets in these 2 launches that they did this past weekend, but that's their eventual goal, right? for the turnaround time for these rockets to be just like airplanes, or if not as quick as airplanes, really, really close, maybe a day, 24-hour turnaround time for launching a rocket into space, sending it back, refueling it, and then launching it back up 24 hours later, which will reduce the cost of sending things to space.
So I love that you touched on that, Irvin, because that's exactly what I was going to ask. If that goal was what they had in mind, I assumed it was. But do you know, I'm not sure if you do know, but what is the turnaround for these rockets right now?
Right now, so it's about a year. So they're taking it slow. They want to be as careful as possible to ensure that it's not going to explode, because they're expensive payloads on these rockets. The last one was, I think, $200 million satellite on top of this.
Yeah.
And you don't want to risk that payload being blown up.
It's just saying 10 satellites were delivered.
Yeah. For this past one, it was 10 satellites.
Right.
10 smaller ones that was delivered. But right now it's about a year. So I think, a couple months ago, they did their first successful relaunch of a rocket that they have already sent to space. And that was about a year from when it initially launched to when it went to space again. And they want to reduce that to 24 hours, maybe even less, if they can. Just enough to like refuel it and send it back to space.
Right. And just to like get a sense of scale on like how crazy this is, these first stage rocket boosters that are being landed are 230 feet tall, which is insane.
Yeah.
To like watch one of these things land. It looks like a tiny little stick in the videos coming down for a landing, and and like you zoom in and this thing's like bigger. Like what looks like grass is actually a forest around it.
Yeah. So I guess a logistics question again. I don't know if any of you know this. I don't. But where are these? I know they're landing, on these carriers or ships. How far away from the launch sites are they landing? Is the intent here to have them land near a facility where they can be repurposed for reuse?
So it depends on where it lands. It can land back on the same area where it took off, but it really depends on how high it has to go in terms of where it needs to deliver the payload. So for any satellites that need to go to geostationary orbit, which means really far away from Earth, that they stay in one position and they rotate with the rotation of the Earth,
right,
then the barge needs to be quite a bit out. I don't know the exact distance from shore, but quite a bit out from shore, because it takes less fuel for it to just launch the payload into space and then just make a curve right back down to the ocean, then rather than launching something into space and then firing back the engine so they turn the opposite direction so they come back to where their launch site was. Right. For lower Earth orbits, that's possible because they have enough fuel on board, but for the ones that need to go higher up, they need to use all that fuel to send the payload up into space. So it really depends on where the final payload was going to end up. But if they have multiple ones ready to go, right, it takes them about, I think right now, maybe 3 to 4 days for them to get it back on shore, if it's in the middle of the ocean, for the barge to come back. And these are unmanned drone ships.
Well, yeah, it like incinerates the entire deck when these things come back for a landing.
Yeah.
And like I love
people on it.
I love the names of these drone ships too. The one that it landed on was called "Just Read the Instructions."
I love that.
And then the other one is, of course, I Still Love You.
The "Just Read the Instructions" reminds me of RTFM.
Yeah.
If you know what that acronym means.
Right.
And
the important thing about this and why SpaceX is so invested in reusing these rockets is that when these stage ones used to come back, they were costing the company $100 million each. And if you could save that part of the rocket and reuse it, all you have to do is refuel it, and the fuel costs about $300,000. That's it. That's all the fuel costs.
That's the insane thing too. I thought I was reading a little bit further into the article, and you said just refueling it and sending it back out, and I was thinking to myself, okay, what of like the service costs of repairing the damage from the spent fuel, or just kind of servicing the shell from just even re-entry of the planet? And Elon Musk was tweeting that since these are made out of a single piece of cast and cut titanium, they can withstand the heat of re-entry without the shielding. And he says basically these could survive an indefinite number of flights with zero service, which means he's literally just paying for fuel at this point.
Yeah.
That's mind-blowing how much money he's saving compared to a company such as NASA.
Yeah, that's really impressive.
And the reason that they're launching these ones in such quick succession is that they had an explosion towards the end of 2016 that caused everything to back up, in terms of they went through this huge investigation to see what that explosion was caused by. And once they found the issue, they fixed it on all of their rockets that were out there ready to be shipped. And now that it's fixed, they're trying to work on their backlog of all the launches that they had contracts for, and they're trying to, if the launch window lines up, they're like, yeah, we can launch it. So that's why they're doing 3 launches in 9 days, which is unheard of in terms of like when NASA used to do them, or Russia or China that are launching rockets now.
So cool. So cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Space.
I'm kind of curious on what the shielding is like on these rockets. You're saying you can use them indefinitely. I mean, you got space debris flying around up there at like 27,000 miles an hour. It could puncture these rockets.
Yeah, but they keep track of all those space, so they know exactly where. And it's not going up that high, these stage ones. They're not. I mean,
okay,
it's
so
pretty
they're staying in
high.
the lower atmosphere.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in the article you can see those. I think you can see it either during the video of the re-entry, or even further down in the article. There's a picture of the grid fans that are used, the solid titanium grid fans that open up to, and it looks like those are used to dissipate a large amount of the heat during re-entry. So I think that's part of the reason why they're able to keep the service cost so low, because they have ways to kind of, it's almost like a heat sink for it as it goes into the atmosphere.
And it's not going fast enough for it to like generate that big heat that the space shuttle used to when it was doing its re-entry. It's going at a much slower pace towards the Earth, so the air friction is not causing that heat to build up on these rockets as much as where the space shuttle had to have that protection on the underside of it when it's coming back to Earth. I've never seen a video of the NASA first stage boosters going back into the atmosphere, but I would imagine they care a hell of a lot less about how it re-enters. Yeah, they don't have control. They just literally fall back into the ocean, and they go ahead and just collect them. Yeah, these just kind of, the NASA boosters would kind of just plummet into the atmosphere.
Yeah.
So
I wonder
space.
how long it takes for them to reach the level where they can release the satellites. I know that the cost would be per launch, but I'm just curious how long it takes for the actual rocket to reach its destination and begin its descent back.
For which rocket? Right now, the stage 1?
Yes.
So how long it takes for it to release its payload and then start falling back?
Absolutely. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, it's about, I don't know if you watched these launches. They broadcast every single one, so you can watch them live on YouTube. But it takes, I'd say, 5 to 8 minutes. That's it. And then it's already coming back towards Earth.
That's so crazy.
They reach upwards of like 18,000 miles an hour in
So
a matter of 2 minutes.
I could do like 7 of these in the time it takes me to get to work every day.
Yes.
At least the launches, yeah. So
Yeah,
I just want to. I want to go to space at some point in my life.
And humans are next. They haven't done any human flight yet. But humans are next. I forget exactly when they're slated to do the first human flight test.
I can't wait for them to say,
I would go to space.
Yeah, for sure.
And they
were we talking about this last episode or something? I can't remember if this was a side conversation or episode material, but the the hotel rooms going to space. Did we talk about?
I remember that now.
I don't know.
There's like I've heard of hotel rooms being provisioned as a future project where you can book this extremely expensive hotel room that goes into the upper atmosphere of Earth, and you just get to hang out up there for a couple of days, a week, whatever it is, and just stay in a hotel
I think
room.
I saw something like that.
I don't know if it was me and you talking on the side,
Yeah.
Thompson, but I remember
Might
hearing
have been.
about this.
Yeah, there was an architect that proposed capturing an asteroid, bringing it into Earth's atmosphere, and building a skyscraper down from the asteroid into Earth's atmosphere. So it would literally circumnavigate the globe in a figure 8 all day.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That seems safe and
Yeah,
practical.
totally
Yeah.
safe.
Right.
Just casually go out there and capture an asteroid and somehow manipulate it so at the point where it doesn't collide with Earth, and then build a hotel on it.
It's just so crazy.
Well, apparently, he's a reputable Chinese architect, so I mean, dream big. We'll see what happens.
I mean, look at Elon Musk. He's digging tunnels, going to space.
His
Going
goal
there.
is like SpaceX stands for space exploration, right? That's why it's called SpaceX, and their goal is to make the humans multi-planetary species, right? And Elon Musk is very clear about this. He wants humans to go to Mars, right?
Mhm.
This in the next, I'd say he said 2025. By the time that sounds about right. I have to check the exact year that he said, but sooner than you think.
It's only 8 years.
Sooner than you think
My
that he
God.
wants to send humans to Mars, and not just like 5 of them, hundreds at a time on these huge rockets that have full life support and everything that you need for the 8 or 9 month journey that it takes to get to Mars, depending on where it is to relation to the Earth. But the
all
time that
about
you
orbit.
launch, yeah. But-
What will be in store? What will be waiting for those passengers there?
Yeah, so he said that initially they're gonna send all the supplies there, right? So when they get there, it's not just gonna be just Mars. They'll have supplies for them to.
Yeah, but is that going to be like
Use-
assembled by AI?
I'm sure.
One
A
dude
bunch of
here
airline
decided to
food.
stay.
Yeah, just have robots assembling your base while you're
Oh,
making it
That's
over
right. I
there.
forgot. Matt Damon's there waiting to. assemble
Right,
it.
he's planning all the
He's taking care of all
potatoes.
of it.
Yeah, he's
That and
got
just
the
like their
potatoes
luggage,
ready.
their luggage just scattered all over the Martian landscape.
Mhm.
I heard a
Damon saves the day again.
I heard a comedian a long
All he
time
needs
ago.
potatoes.
Sorry, go ahead, Kyle.
That's right. I heard a comedian a long time ago saying that if you wanted to explore more space and save money, he's like, well, one of the most expensive parts is bringing astronauts back. So why don't we just take people who are on life sentences or death row inmates and send them? They can go twice as far. And we don't have to bring them back afterward.
Didn't the British try that with Australia a couple hundred years ago?
That's how Australia came to be. Besides, Aboriginals.
Yeah, let's just do it again. That worked out fine.
Yeah.
Australia's a fun
it's,
place.
it's not a big deal.
Boxing
Everybody likes
Day-
to vacation there, whatever.
Boxing Day is the best day of the year. So
Exactly. The only dangerous thing about Australia is all the animals.
Yeah,
Literally
it's
everything that isn't a human.
Yeah.
and if you go in the water anywhere, you're in trouble.
Exactly. But the mindset of SpaceX versus NASA kind of I thought it was an interesting metaphor that I saw when I was in a bar a couple weekends ago. I saw an older guy at one end of the bar. He was probably in his he might have been in his early 50s or 60s, and he had a NASA shirt on. And then at the other end of the bar was this younger guy about in his 20s with a SpaceX shirt on. And I was just like, okay, like what are the chances of these two people being in the same bar at the same time?
Did they get into a fight by the end of the night?
I think they were glaring at each other for a little while.
You should have pulled How I Met Your Mother. Like, have you met Joe?
It's like, hey, this is this cool new hot company, Space, just like angrily drinking a beer on the other side.
Getting defunded.
NASA's
kids today.
NASA's is one of SpaceX's biggest contractors. NASA's giving. They have so many contracts with SpaceX to send supplies up to the ISS because nobody else is. They're not doing it, so they have to contract out a third party, and everybody else is so much more expensive A recent report came out with did the reporting on how much Lockheed Martin, because Lockheed Martin does a lot of contract work with especially the government to launch rockets into space, like spy satellites. And in that report, from what we can make out, is that Lockheed Martin charges 4 or 5 times as much as SpaceX to launch the same exact satellite, which is ridiculous.
That's the idea, though, right?
Right. And this is just a start. They want to make it even cheaper. They want to make it as cheap as buying airplane tickets if you want to go to space.
That's so nice. It would have been funny if the guy in the bar was the NASA shirt guy was sending the SpaceX guy beers every once in a while. Just a nice little metaphor on top of that.
Yeah,
but
hey man, you need some wholesale prices on rocket fuel. I got you.
But I think that's a good point for us to move into the next topic, because we could dedicate an entire episode to Elon Musk. Yeah. But
bring it back down to earth.
Exactly.
Oh, nice.
It took a second, but it hurt all the same. But how do you guys feel about this new Snapchat update? I saw it all over the news and plastered all throughout my Google Now news feed when they announced it. But it's apparently been helping their stock out. But this new feature called Snapchat Maps, where if you pinch out, kind of like you're zooming out on a photo on your camera in Snapchat, it takes you to this like heat map of your local area where you can see public snaps and like locations of your friends. How do you guys feel about that? Because it seems to me like that was almost like an opt-out feature.
Sort of like, this is what I was talking about in the first half when I mentioned the auto update with an app. I didn't even realize this feature got added until I saw one of those stereotypical Facebook posts. It's like, look out for your kids. There's this new thing on this awful app. Know where your kids are, which I agree with, but I think it was disabled by default. I think. Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
It is.
I know that it is disabled on my phone.
Yeah, it's off by default.
So okay. That's a plus. But it's kind of creepy, I think. It goes to the whole battle back and forth on location services, pros and cons. I think that they can be useful. I think they can be very cool, but it is creepy that people that you may not even know that well, but you would send a picture of, for example, your podcast being live, like we tend to do, and say, hey, tune in. That person you're connected with, if you have this feature enabled now, can say, hey, oh, this guy's right here.
Right. You can see exactly like down to the house where they are on the map, which is kind of crazy. And like the users of Snapchat like are really sometimes really young. So I think it's really important for like parents to like sit down. Like, I know you're going to use Snapchat, which is fine, but you really have to sit down and talk to them. Like, you really want to ensure that you're not sharing your location with every one of your friends on Snapchat. You have to be careful who you pick, because you can select of what friends. You can say all friends can see my location or just certain friends. You really want to sit down and talk to kids. Parents should sit down and talk to kids about say, what information you are exposing here and why you should be careful about sharing this type of location information with everyone that you follow on Snapchat.
Yeah, like I have so many questions about the implementation of this. Like, is there filters on what you can and can't make public? Like, is someone keeping track of what people are doing? Because it's now not very hard to broadcast something live, or not live, but as a snap to a lot of people. Like, is there a way?
When you saw it on Facebook, have you guys seen this? This happened on the Facebook app first, the location-based. It wasn't down to the house like this is. This is very specific, but it was still the same. It was like in the same general vicinity. I know every time I go to work, one of our coworkers shows up on my phone, says so-and-so is nearby.
Yeah, when that initially came out, I saw that coming up when I was at a bar. And it was like kind of interesting. It's like, oh, my friend is here. I didn't know that. Then I was like, wait a minute, this is creepy, and I turned it off. I was like,
Yeah,
it
you
was
turn up
cool.
location
It was
sharing.
cool that I found a friend who was at the same bar as me, right? But after I thought about it, it's like, wait a minute, am I really want to share my location at all times with Facebook? No, no thanks.
Did you see the thing that
Yeah.
Messenger had too, where I think it was on by default for a lot of people, where it would actually send the location of where you were when you sent that message. Like you could click on you could expand the message in the Facebook Messenger app and get a map of where that person sent that message from.
Oh,
So
damn.
the one thing I like about all this is, and it's kind of like a joke going around, is that this is the anti-cheating update.
But it's funny. I was going to make a joke
you're gonna
about
get
that
caught with this.
because Snapchat was the cheater app.
That's what I mean.
It was the cheater app, and they were like, all right, we'll help the girlfriends out too.
You've
That's
been
fine.
exposed.
Or boyfriends.
It's important to note also, it's only sending the location while the app is open. So once you close the app, it's running in the background, but it's not going to send the location to Snapchat. So it only updates once you open the app.
It
Not
will
your
show the
current-
most recent.
Yes,
Not your current, not your current
Yeah.
location,
but
like,
it will show you where you were last using the
Exactly.
app.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Ryan, I saw you earlier today.
Yeah,
Oh.
so did I.
I saw you on the app.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
We were shown in like the same area because we work really close to each other. But
Yeah, I was just like
You guys
checking out the
keep
map.
doing them on the John.
It is
It's-
kind of cool in a way, because like if you say that I'm at the Philadelphia Zoo and then I'm looking at the map and it's like, oh, Matt Slavin just posted at Philadelphia Zoo. It's, oh man, I'm gonna go find Slavin. I didn't know he's at the zoo. That's
Yeah.
kind of cool. But
Mhm.
if it's not used correctly or you're not aware of what's going on exactly, who can see what, there are people I don't know that I've seen pictures of on Snapchat on the map that are just like trending or something. I don't know how they choose who gets shown because there's so many.
They have to
Oh,
add it to
right.
our story feature,
yes,
I think.
yeah. So whenever
When they
you
upload.
send someone, there's my story, and there's sometimes an option called our story.
Okay.
If you add it to that, that makes it public to literally everyone at Facebook, in the
Or
Facebook
Snapchat.
app, or that's what I meant in Snapchat.
You mean yeah.
Yes, in Snapchat. It makes
Facebook
it
would love
public.
that, though.
Right?
So if there's, yeah,
They
right.
would. They
If there's
would
a huge-
enjoy
so-
that.
So there's a huge festival somewhere in your
Yeah.
vicinity, and you're looking at the map, and you see, oh, there's all these things on our story here, and it
Mhm.
looks like a lot of fun. Is
Right.
that the appeal of this, to draw people into events? What do you guys think?
I was using it yesterday to kind of go around the world and like get a glimpse into like the lives of some people in like various cities. Like yesterday, I was watching some festival in Saudi Arabia, and then I went over to South Korea and was like checking out the nightlife in South Korea, and then panned back over to the pyramids of Egypt just to see the people taking snaps of the pyramids, because it gives you like an in-person at the ground level of the pyramids. And that was really cool. Like it's cool to like go on these
Yeah,
like
that's cool.
free tours of the world and like check out all these countries and locations and stuff like that.
It's funny that as you said that, I just so happened to be doing that, just seeing like, what
Yeah.
else you could see, because you guys mentioned you could see like the stories of the live areas, and it's that part of it is really cool. I mean, I can go right now, like you said, someone mentioned the Philadelphia Zoo. I can go right to the Philadelphia Zoo and see what people are snapping about. Like I can
Mhm.
see all of the awesome cute panda bears. Like
And I could even, this is probably a feature that's not directly intended by this. I could even see myself using this in the future, being like, oh, I plan on going to this place later. Is it going to be packed with people? Is it going to be crowded? Like I can just jump into someone's Our Story in the area and be like, oh, okay, the Harbor Park beer garden is mobbed right now. Maybe we should go somewhere else.
Or to that point, oh, there's a lot of traffic on the turnpike. I'm gonna take the bridge. You know, like,
Yeah. So I could see all these extra use cases for it. It's pretty cool. I don't know. I
What
kind of like it, but
What if it was like a riot?
yeah,
well, that's a good point too. And
That would
you know,
instantly get a following if there are people nearby.
you're-
that's
you're
right. That's why I
you're
was
touching
wondering.
real closely to a future topic right now. I'm so tempted to segue, but I'm not gonna quite yet, since this isn't done.
I mean, we could even talk about both of these topics in the same lump, because it all comes down to like location-based instantaneous data
yeah, that's
and
true.
the importance of the fact that people understand that we're in this new realm where everything is instant. You can view everything as it happens, And like to Ryan's point, I was wondering if there's maybe even something similar that Facebook, like how Facebook Live does it, to take down instances of something. Like it's only a matter of time before a crime is committed on this or something.
Right.
So how long is it going to be, and are they going to be prepared for that?
Police companies or police departments, sorry, use things like that already on Facebook. If they see someone who's suspected of a crime upload a photo and it has the location tag, they will go there and find that person and arrest them. I've like seen stories of that happening. I don't think it's far-fetched at all for this to happen with other apps now. Right.
I was even talking more so like, God forbid, they had the person on Facebook Live who was executed on Facebook Live. Like it's in my mind, because of how technology is and how people are with technology, my mind immediately goes to something like that, or to using this in the case of like a stalking, or which is something that's much harder to track. But I'm just talking about the things that are, because like you said, kids use this app, and much younger people than us use it daily.
So when you talk about like smaller scale, like, okay, I don't mean to say smaller scale because all of these hold a certain gravity because of, you know, the situation at hand. But when it comes to things like you were saying, like, you know, the awful beheading that was recorded live, unfortunately, they use like different proxies and things like that, so they don't actually share their location. You can't trace them that way. But if you can take in the environment through what's being broadcasted when it comes down to like a picture or video, that's where it could come in. And, you know, the location tag, if it's on for your everyday criminal,
right, because Snapchat up until this point has been very unmoderated, to say the least, in terms of the publication of snaps. And the point that I was trying to get at basically is, are we going to see Snapchat step in and take this stuff down if it does happen? Like, is there a way to flag and report public snaps globally available to anybody as like, hey, maybe this shouldn't be seen by people. This is a really bad thing.
Have they really not monitored? Because I mean, I've checked out like those featured stories before, and it'll be like some crazy festival or like some crazy concert where you know people are doing drugs and stuff, and I don't see anybody falling down, throwing up on themselves. I don't see anybody, you know, doing crazy stuff. I mean, it's everything seems to be tame that you see in those stories, and that's really what you're seeing, except for the individuals. That's really what you're seeing on that part of the app, is these festivals or these major events or these major landmarks. So is it really not being viewed?
Maybe it's the same thing. Maybe they are going through some kind of an approval process before this gets uploaded to the live. But that's what that's the point I was trying to make. Like, is this something that people are moderating before it goes live, or is it just kind of like posting to your story where it just goes right there?
Okay, I thought you were saying that they haven't to this point. And I was like, oh, really? I didn't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, they have it. They have in that case. That's I would argue is the same, but like I just didn't know if it was in the same aspect as that, or if it was basically publishing like to your story, because you can put whatever the heck you want on that.
Yeah.
So I don't. It's a different time we live in.
More out there, cheaters. Can't put one out there anymore.
And not just cheaters, but rioters are coming into the picture.
Here we go.
Yeah, here we go. This article from The Verge, which I believe was published today, is talking about a study performed by Cardiff University, which is based in Wales, UK, and is determined based on their metrics in regards to the London riots in 2011, that apparently Twitter can be used to identify dangerous situations like riots up to an hour faster than police reports.
That's impressive. Wasn't this also how I think it was the Arab Spring was organized?
Yeah.
Yep. That whole movement. So yeah, and Twitter's always pledged itself as the free speech wing of free speech, or I forget the exact slogan they use, but it's impressive that people are able to use these metrics that's faster than police response. And I would like to see maybe even police have the ability to hook into that, or to have people develop means for the police to take advantage of that in such a way where you could almost predict a riot before it happens based on location and tweets.
Well, that's coming, but this is it's not really a prediction based on what I've read. It's more like, oh, you're rioting again. Haven't you done this enough? Things like that, where Twitter can take something like that and be like, okay, maybe something's happening here. Oh, I'm getting a lot more about things happening here. There's a riot going on here, where police are waiting on calls, actually verifying something's happening.
Yeah, it's just starting to. It's basically just them extrapolating on data they have, but it was just what the article headline was. They said they could predict it, but
yeah,
and predict that's kind of a vague word in that sense.
Yeah, I don't think it was the right word to use.
But they're starting to be able to develop algorithms on identifying potential threats. So, like, it would be cool to see like the police have something similar to Snap Maps, for example, where they have like heat maps of activity that are potentially threatening in Twitter based on location on phones, something like that. Just then, I wonder if in this new age, if we're going to progress onto a more internet-based source of like threat detection and stuff, just based on people tweeting and people's movements in social media, going to and from apps.
Maybe using AI to determine that.
Yeah, but we don't want to. When we use that AI, we don't want to be too early and start doing what we did in Minority Report and do some pre-crime stuff, where you're stopping the crime before it actually happens, before that person actually commits anything. They don't do anything. So you want to be careful. They might be talking about doing something, but they haven't actually done anything yet. So the AI might interpret that as, oh, they already done it, so they're going to report that to authority, and they get arrested for not having done anything at all yet.
Yeah, but I don't think it would be a situation where the AI turns around and says, "Oh my God, they did something." It would just spit out the information to them, and then they have to be the people who, like the law enforcement, would be the people to be like, "Okay, let's go put officers near this person to ensure nothing happens." Or, let's send officers to this area because this area is a heat map with a lot of the same word being used, a threatening word or dangerous words or reactionary words to a situation. Let's send people in that direction to keep it where it is instead of it escalating further. I think that's something that could be potentially easy by using AI to constantly live update Twitter with these keywords. I think that's really as far as you could go. I don't see it going much further than that, at least at this time. But I don't know, your guys take on that. That's my feel.
You ready up for a lesson in future crime?
And
what if people pose like they're gonna do something to distract law enforcement so they can do something somewhere else?
That's definitely a possibility. I mean, that stuff happens now.
Yep, exactly.
It happens now, and that's without constant monitoring. It's more with wiretaps and stuff like that. It's
just simple misdirection.
Yeah, it's going to be impossible to predict everything, like we talked about before. In some cases you have to be reactionary, but having every tool at your disposal is the only way to make these precautions. There's not much else you can, unless you do it how you're doing it now and just sit back and wait and then react to that.
Right, and the article was going on to say, kind of to both of your points, that many existing approaches to event detection are directed primarily at large-scale events, as the article says, like terror attacks, riots, stuff of this matter. And it's much harder to kind of work with the data you have when you're working with smaller incidents like fires, robberies, car accidents, stuff like that. So it's looking like it's primarily going to be more accurate in large-scale scenarios, which makes perfect sense. And then also to our point we were talking earlier, the article goes on to say that it's confirming what companies such as Dataminr, that's without an E in the minor, have been doing for governments and law enforcement. So it looks like this already is happening.
Yeah.
Into almost real-time alerts for these events. So it's cool to see that that's how it's actually kind of progressing, and we're seeing a little bit more of a rapid response. But I don't know if what everyone's saying, if we're going to see it be able to predict like petty crimes or stop anything of that nature. So I don't know. It's interesting, definitely, to see where we're moving with this.
Yeah, I mean, you can't use every single keyword as a way to grab somebody and arrest them. I mean, Facebook, their memories are on this day feature and Time Hop are the greatest things ever invented because I get to go delete all the dumb things that I said when I was like 17 on social media. So like, I mean, imagine some 17-year-old saying something stupid on the internet, and it's not the most threatening thing in the world, but it's just, it was how he felt in the moment. He's going through teenage angst, whatever. Like, and then all of a sudden, if we're overreactionary and we go and arrest a kid who hasn't even done anything, yeah, obviously you want to avoid that situation. I think it's all about monitoring, but keeping that human element in there. Okay, let's read this. Let's adjust accordingly. Let's assess the situation. So.
Right. I think it's harder to make it specific like that. Like you see with these riots, there's definitely a large group of people and they're on their phones tweeting their feelings in one location, like, you know, a small location point. So like, if you're just having individual one-offs, it's more like, well, you don't really know.
Yeah.
It's more of a gray area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it all falls back onto this new emergence of location-based social media,
Right.
and information within a small area and instantaneous communication. So, we're in uncharted territory. People have never had this finite level of communication with each other on such a small location, even across smaller distances too. So, things like Snapchat's feature their Snap Maps and Twitter's, just the instantaneous nature of Twitter in itself, is going to like pave the way for all different kinds of just different situations and scenarios that people are forced to be in, because this is just the world we live in now. So
yeah, the way technology advances, there's different rules every day.
Right. Yeah. And
who makes the rules these days, you know?
Mm-hmm. So I think it's definitely going to be something that we should keep an eye on, because I feel like we're at this point, we're basically predicting stuff now just because we've called out the cybersecurity thing. But I'm telling you, in a future episode, we're probably going to be talking about something that went wrong with Snapchat's Snap Map feature, or something that went wrong with something that involved Twitter movement or activities or something like that.
Totally agree.
I just feel like it's going to happen.
There's, especially with, I think Irvin mentioned that it's a younger crowd that's primarily using the app frequently.
Mm-hmm.
Not excessively. I could definitely see misuse occurring.
Right, where they're not even aware of how much information that they're sharing with someone.
Not just that, but they may even be completely aware and just be blind to what even their peers could do to them as a result.
Yeah.
Maybe this guy's doing something there, and you want to go assert your dominance as a 12-year-old, and you go fight him or something, stupid. I could see that panning out poorly.
Mm-hmm. Right, and we have that information now. Like, even going into just like I think there's various hooks in Google and Twitter and Facebook right now. You can go to certain pages to double check like what permissions you've given to certain sites, and like, I guarantee you've forgotten about that, or like there's some that you haven't needed in a long time because you no longer use that app or something, but it's still sending that location data out. It's still sending that data to those servers, and people are just forgetful. You can't hold I think it's unreasonable to blame it on a person, to hold them accountable for forgetting to remove their presence from something. Like, I guarantee you most of us still have a MySpace account online. And
I know for a fact I do.
Speak for yourself.
And when's the last time you guys logged into that MySpace, or even have access, maybe even have access to the email anymore that it's associated with?
What's an acceptable answer that you guys won't judge me for?
A long time. I don't know. You could say yesterday and I wouldn't be phased.
I would be phased.
And Kyle's not invited back next week, so join us for the rest of it.
Yeah. If you like wrestling, now's the time to listen, because you won't get the chance again.
But on a note related to Twitter, do y'all fellas with the iOS device on the other side of the fence, do you guys have access to an app called Phoenix? It's a third-party Twitter app. Did they make an iOS version of that app? Because maybe this will put a stopgap on all things evil with Twitter, but a third-party Twitter app has announced that they themselves are going to implement and have implemented editing tweets before they're actually published. So that's something that Twitter people and some famous YouTubers and a bunch of people have been clamoring about for years, the ability to edit a tweet. And the way that it works is the way that I think that Twitter should implement it. It's when you post a tweet, you get like a 10-second like little notification that counts down. And in that time, if you see a typo, you can quickly edit it and then republish it or just let it send.
Coffee
So, yeah. So yeah, any potentially well-known figures who regularly tweet and make typos can have the chance to edit their tweets if they use that. And yeah, it's something that people have been wanting for a long time, and it's interesting that third-party companies are doing it and Twitter isn't doing it.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I mean, I think, Kyle, you just said it's not available on iOS.
No, it's not.
Yeah, to be honest, I have 2 Twitter handles because first one I got locked out of like a noob, and the second one I started again, and then I realized I don't really have too much to tweet about. So I
have.
Just dropped
It's
off.
okay.
Twitter guys.
I have 3 Twitter handles.
I just felt like I was forcing it when I did it. Personally.
Hashtag obsessed.
Yeah, I have 1 Twitter account for my personal use. I have 1 for aggregating news, and then I have another one that sends the news to the news aggregator.
That's cool. I like it.
So the other one just literally tweets RSS feeds of articles. It's interesting. I wish I tweeted more, and I wish I was more active on Twitter, but it hasn't done a whole lot to hold me beyond what Facebook and Reddit.
You know what, Matt? I'm proud of you.
I definitely read it more than I actually post at it, because I follow a lot of influential people within the tech, definitely the tech side of things, as well as any of the interesting people that I might follow that who are experts about topics that I enjoy reading about. So I follow up on Twitter a couple times a day to see what people are posting, but I definitely don't post rarely anything on my Twitter myself.
I'll retweet, but hardly an original.
I'm very active during wrestling.
Right.
And major sporting events and most wrestling events, especially if I'm watching live. Obviously, I don't want to tweet when it's like, a week later. But
maybe I missed something with Twitter. Like maybe I'm missing some aspect of it that, like the live aspect of it, that I'm not 100% keen on. But
I feel like it has to be your life for at least an hour a week.
It seems like a part-time job.
Yeah, and that's kind of what turned me off from it. It's like I get the appeal, and it's cool to stay informed with what people are saying. It's another form of communication, but I personally don't want to sit on my phone with my eyes glued to the screen for that long.
Right, but yeah, I literally only use it for tech articles, parody Twitter accounts, and the president, and that's the only reason why I'm on there.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is.
Yep.
I'm trying to get them follows up, son. I'm at 314 right now, dog.
I was gonna say you're trying to get to double digits, huh?
And also, we're on Twitter.
Yes.
Down in
We
the
are
bottom
on
corner.
Twitter. I'm not saying our Twitter is not important. Just my Twitter is not important.
But I think that's pretty much all we got for this episode. So, anybody want to do the honors of playing this out? Anyone
Can I
want
do a cheap plug before we do it?
Yeah, go for it. Plug yourself. Plug away.
I got
So-
one next.
As always, I'm going to do a cheap plug for my other podcast. If you like this and you're a super nerd like myself, please check out on iTunes and Podomatic.com. On Air with Keenan and Kyle. We're also on Twitter at On Air Keenan Kyle. The with and end were just too many characters, so they wouldn't let us do it. But at On Air Keenan Kyle. Good stuff. We usually retweet my opinions on wrestling, Kevin's opinions on wrestling, or we tweet directly from the actual Twitter account itself. But like I said, iTunes, you can subscribe, rate, review, the whole nine, just like you should do with the Industry 4.0 on iTunes, Google Play as well.
I know I have.
You're our number one fan.
That's right.
Ooh, I call number 2.
Dibs.
And then just a quick plug too. As you've heard in this episode and the rest, Beats by J Buds for the intro, the little break in the middle, and the outro. I've got a new beat going as of last week. As soon as we ended the episode, I started it, and I'm working on it, like in the progress. If you go to soundcloud.com/freh, that's FREH, not to be confused with fresh. You can find some new beats up there, and I'm pretty excited with the progress I'm making.
All right, and
So am I, by the way.
Thank you.
I wish I had
Appreciate
something
that.
interesting to plug. I do plan on starting Android development at some point. I've been kind of keeping up with some videos and kind of doing some tutorials. So maybe by the time we get a little deeper into the podcast, I'll have a couple apps that I can plug later on. But I don't have anything interesting, so I can. If anybody else doesn't have anything they want to plug, I can just go right into plugging ourselves. Anybody else want to jump in? Nope. Looks like not. So you can find us primarily on industry40.podbean.com. That's our home base where all the episodes come from. That's if you go to that website, feel free to follow us, like us, comment on the podcast episodes, do whatever you'd like there. You can also find us on Google Play and iTunes at Industry 4.0. You can look for the image. It's just the 4 and the black and green gears with the word industry down below it. Feel free to like, subscribe, share, and listen and rate us, which is most important. You can find us also streaming live on YouTube if you haven't already and are watching us live. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook, pretty much anywhere. J-Buds, have you been keeping up with the SoundCloud, or is that just kind of...
Not to present date. There were
Okay. Well,
data issues there, but
formerly known as the podcast located on SoundCloud, but not anymore. But I guess that's it for this week's Industry 4.0. This has been episode 8, and we'll see you in the next one. See you guys.
Peace.
yeah, baby. Well done, fellas.
It's becoming second nature.
It really is. I'm feeling such a flow with us.
Yeah, I'm digging this Hangouts. I feel like the audio quality is significantly better than Skype.
Yep.
And the video is normal. And I only roboted for a little bit.
And that's your microphone. That's not.
I don't
Skype.
think it's. I don't know if it's your. Well, actually, yeah. You said you unplugged and plugged back in, right,
Yeah.
Matt?
Oh, that time I just muted and unmuted, and it seemed to go away on its own. But
Really.
yeah,
So I don't know if it's your mic or if it's the software you're using, but
I'm not using any software. It's just a USB.
So then it's your mic.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring something up just to you guys because it didn't make any sense on the pod, but it made me think of this story. So I heard somebody
Are we
recently.
still live, Irvin, by the way?
Yes. We are live on YouTube. Yes.
Like our video right now and our audio.
And subscribe.
What?
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 I was.
Should we kill? I didn't want to interrupt you, Kyle, but I just wanted to...
No, it's okay. I'm glad glad you said we're live because I was about
I just
to curse. So.
wanted to put you on that. Yeah, so...
Irvin, what are you doing, bud?
I don't know.
So, Irvin,
Hold
Irvin's
on.
alive.
live.
Hold on.
What's the deal,
Yeah.
son?
General consensus is good night.
Probably live off of the live stream.
So Irvin's been expelled from the island, right?
Voted off.
Oh yeah, we're still live. Do we have? Oh yeah.
Oh, we're still live. We're still live.
There we go.
Oh, there you go.
Ready, son.
Because the assistant said thanks for watching. Okay.
Whenever you're ready to take us off live.